Today we celebrate the memorial of St. Bernard of Clairvaux. And I wanted to share briefly something about this outstanding saint. He lived in the 12th century, and he was a man with many facets. He was an abbot. He was also a writer. He's a doctor of the church. Do you guys know what's the title that the church gave him? He's the Doctor Mellifluous, because he wrote and spoke in a very poetic way. And he was also a man influential in church politics and ecclesiastical matters in his time. Many things could be said about St. Bernard, but I just want to focus on one aspect of his life. And that this man was granted an amazing eloquence. And he was extremely persuasive. He was chosen by the Pope to rally men, for example, for the crusade. So he was a man who was convincing men that it was worthwhile going on a crusade to the Holy Land. He was also an extremely persuasive man because he convinced many young men to become monks like himself. Perhaps you already knew this, but St. Bernard came from a large family, and he convinced every single one of his siblings to become also a monk, and even his sister became a nun. The story tells that every time that St. Bernard went to a town or a city, you know what women did with their husbands or their boyfriends? They hid them from St. Bernard, because they knew that if they heard him preach, they would leave with St. Bernard, either to the crusade or to the monastery. That is how convincing St. Bernard was. So let me finish with this. Where did this persuasiveness come from? If you were attentive to the collect prayer today, the answer is there. The collect prayer today says, St. Bernard was a man burning in the zeal for the house of the Lord. He was an extremely passionate man about the cause that he was living for. And the collect prayer also says today that we may be inspired by this same flame of love as St. Bernard to be men and women of light. So today, brothers and sisters, let us pray to St. Bernard that he may inspire the same fire that burned within his heart, and that we too may be granted the eloquence and the persuasiveness to bring others closer into the kingdom of heaven, to bring other people closer in their pursuit of holiness.